morning. Today we are on the Coach House couch with Nilufar Fowler, someone who I have worked with over the years in a variety of different guises, but I'm delighted to invite her to the couch today in her current guise of Global Chief Growth Officer.
Indeed.
Mindshare. So, and as always with my leaders on the couch, Nilufar, I ask them 3 questions, and
right.
So we're going to start with question 1. So question 1 is probably you've been asked this already, but during this lockdown period and beyond, what for you as a leader has been the hardest thing?
I mean, there's a lot that's been hard. I think I will hold my hands up to being one of the people that's found working from home really hard. I found the workload has been kind of insane, and I think that's probably true for everybody. But I think for me, the hardest bit has really been about the bit of leadership that's about how you manage people and how you stay connected with people, because there's lots of different component parts of being a leader, and getting the work done is one thing, but making sure that your people are okay is actually a really significant part of being a leader. And for me, I've found that really challenging in lockdown, because it's easy when you're physically in an office with people, because you can see that people are perhaps struggling with work or struggling with things. Whereas the way that we've been working, what I found is that often I'm seeing the same small group of people that I'm doing a specific project with over and over again. And there are other people working on projects that, yes, I'm connected with, and it's my responsibility as a leader to make sure those people are okay, but I'm not seeing them all the time. So I actually have taken quite a regimented approach to it, that I actually have a list of people that I make sure that I just check in with them like every few days or every week, just to ask how they're doing, and how are they coping with things, because I suddenly realized, like 3 weeks in, oh my God, I haven't seen this long list of people. I haven't seen them at all for weeks now. So that for me has been really challenging, because you got to manage that balance between allowing people some privacy, allowing people actually just deal with things in their own way, but also making sure that you take on responsibility for caring about their mental health, how they're dealing with a physical environment, how they're managing their workload. So I found that a real challenge.
I think for a lot of people that I've spoken to, that's been the case. What about from a personal level, just in terms of lifestyle, what's been difficult?
I mean, for me, definitely the managing homeschool. So I'm a working mother. So I have a 12-year-old daughter, and it's certainly an entire term of homeschooling, trying to balance that with also having really, really massive workload capacity as well. And then all the other things that you have to deal with because your life has been so disrupted. That was definitely challenging. I will say my daughter's school was amazing and actually made the experience as easy as possible. But there were moments when I was like, oh my God, I'm doing 2 jobs at the same time.
Did you have to add her to your list?
I definitely had to add her to my list.
Well, I guess connected to that question then is, what's been your learning having been through this really tough time?
I've had an almost complete shift in how I get work done. So I'm going to say I'm a boil the ocean person, but I work in quite an intense way, and I like working in that way. Whereas what we've had to do is go to a much more agile way of doing things. So instead of going, I've got 10 weeks to deliver this project, every single thing has had to be broken down into, what do we need to do in the next 3 days, and being quite regimented about sort of almost a sprint-based approach to how we do it. So breaking everything into very small groups of people. We are working on this piece of it, this group of people are working on this piece of it, and then my job has been to try and then connect all those bits together, and just finding shortcuts in things. Like, I mean, people always, you sort of end of a meeting, somebody's responsible for sort of capturing the actions and stuff, writing up in an email. No more. Somebody scribbles during the meeting, takes a photo of it at the end, and just emails it out, because who's got time to do stuff like that? So for me, I have really enjoyed finding a different way of getting the work done. I mean, I've been working on a very, very large pitch that's had very, very large number of meetings. And actually at the beginning of it, when I got the brief, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But moving to that different way of working, actually, it's been a joy doing the work. I've actually really, really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. So my final question for you is 3 tips for people who are leading and managing in businesses and agencies today. What pearls of wisdom do you have for them, Nils?
So my big thing is around mental health, right? So because I think that I doubt there is anybody that hasn't had those moments where they've just felt completely overwhelmed, both by the situation, by the amount of stuff that there is to do. So for me, actually, my 3 tips are all around how do you get better mental health in. One is about prioritizing sleep, and I am the worst person in the world to do that. So my whole life has always been about surviving on about sort of 6 hours sleep, which normally is fine for me. And I suddenly realized that actually I need to prioritize sleep a bit more. And that means that just get a bit more regimented about it. Doesn't matter that you haven't got all the work that you wanted to get done today done. The laptop goes off at a certain time, so you've got time to decompress, time to spend some time with your family before you go to bed at a really decent hour. And actually, I've been using like a meditation app to just get my head in a decent space so that I can just fall asleep. Second one is around physical well-being, because physical well-being and mental well-being are so hugely linked together. So I've been on this journey in lockdown where I've turned myself back into possibly the world's slowest runner. But I run every day, and actually I would say it's normally just a half-hour run every day, but that half hour at the beginning of the day clears my head and sets me up for the day really, really, really well. And then the third thing is, don't be afraid to say it's too much. And I am, again, normally the worst person in the world for saying no to things, and will just take more and more onto my plate. Actually, I've really learned in lockdown to go, I can't do that because I've got too much to do already. So either take something off my plate that I've got already on it, or you need to give this to somebody else. And for me, those 3 learnings have actually sustained me through lockdown.
Amazing. And I know that for you, someone who is high energy and has thrived on all of those things before, like, you know, doing loads of big projects and just powering through and adding to that loads of travel, it must be a real shift for you to get into a different pattern.
Absolutely. And actually, one of the things that forced the shift, you're exactly right. It's the fact that because I can't travel, a lot of the projects that I've been doing have been with US-based teams. So you get to this slightly bonkers thing where you could work till 1 a.m. every day because of the time differences.
Yeah.
So actually, it's been really important to me to say, okay, I'm willing to time shift my day a bit, but here is where it ends.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.
Absolutely, Helen. Lovely to see you.